What are some really subtle signs that a person is actually stupid? The signs are never as subtle as they think. The stupidest people are the ones who think they are smart. I agree. I feel like people who are really pretentious about the very specific, niche thing that they're good at and talk down to other people for not being familiar with it are usually really dumb about literally everything else. They get upset when you do something right. It's quasi common in my area for folks to get offended if you use a word they've never heard or don't understand. The assumption is that if you don't understand the word that the person using it is talking down to you and using flowery language to do so. So freaking weird. The good old I never felt stupid until you came along, so it must be your fault. Stop using big words. The dumbest people are usually those who will never admit they don't know something. Yeah, the people that go I know whenever you're telling them something. 5 minutes later you find out in fact they don't know. Hey, if you do task this way it's easier and quicker. I know how to do task. I don't need you to tell me. Continues doing task incorrectly. Lack of self-awareness. The best way to tell if someone is stupid is if they consistently don't learn from mistakes. They don't seem to comprehend what they did caused the problem even after being told numerous times. I'm right, because I'm older. That would mean that the oldest person in a room is always right. That is terrifying. I worked in a nursing home in which the oldest lady had a cane she would hit you with if you got in her way. Sounds like a smart way to ensure no one ever gets in your way, to be honest. Sometimes my mother drove me insane as a kid, because she always thought this. I'm never going to be a father, but whenever I'm talking to other people's kids I always try to at least listen to them, no matter how ridiculous they're being. It's also totally possible that the kid is actually right, but doesn't have the language skills to explain that. You have to listen to what they say and try to infer what they mean. Don't mind me, I'm just checking the comments here to see if I'm dumb. The most common answer is that dumb people don't realize they're dumb. The fact that you're willing to question yourself proves you aren't. Which, honestly, not actually true. I've known at least one person who was like I'm dense as a rock. And you know what? They were high WIS, low int. The ability to ignore all facts and still claim they are right. One time in college a classmate wanted me to review a paper she was writing. It had some pretty shocking statistics in it, but no sources or indication where the numbers came from. So I asked about it, and recommended she added citations. She said, "Oh, no, it's not like that. I'm saying it feels like 90%. Guess the prof's answer to her grade is I'm saying it feels like a 0% grade. Oh god, that's alarming. They are never wrong. Ever. Are you trying to make me proud of myself for doing dumb mistakes everywhere? It's not the dumb mistake that you should be proud of, it's the realization of the stupidity in your mistake. Also, if it keeps happening, and you don't change, it's still stupid." 0 curiosity. A stupid person makes the same mistake over and over again and cannot learn anything. This above all else, no matter how dumb of a mistake or action was preformed. If they can learn I'd still say that they ain't stupid, but an inability to learn is inevitably going to make that person stupid as frick. A kid won't be a dumbass forever. For an example, I'd argue that there are two kind of dumb people. The ones who can't learn. The ones who can learn, but aren't willing to. So basically, they stay ignorant on purpose. That's the difference between ignorance and stupidity. Ignorance is fixable with effort. Stupid people are rarely curious about anything. I always feel the most intelligent people I've ever met have ridiculously broad knowledge. Like sure you can meet someone who knows several subjects inside out, but I always feel a difference between that and people who you could talk to about nearly anything. It's clear they are curious by nature and taking little bits of everything in. Definitely seems like a common trait. My co-worker thinks I'm really smart. Honestly, I doubt I'm much smarter than she is. I just look up pretty much everything I don't have an answer to, instead of shrugging and asking a higher up. I'm always reading new books and exploring new ideas. I'm not smarter. but my curiosity has made me more knowledgeable. And that's something anyone can achieve with time. Dealing with someone like that right now. Best example is I gave them an itemized list of questions I needed answered. They only sent back the first item on the list and still fricked it up. I work in automotive and was at a government summit once showcasing our cars. Had a lady at a pretty influential position who asked me the difference between a rear-wheel drive and a 4WD car. After I was done explaining, she asked me what's the point of having front wheels on a rear-wheel drive car. My brain had to reboot to comprehend that question. For a second I was going to be sympathetic to someone who didn't understand 4WD versus ORD, but damn, that's some next level incomprehension. Today I learned 4WD and ORD are not the same thing with a different name. Personally, I believe a person is stupid when they refuse to learn and willingly choose to stay ignorant. I'm not talking about people that are unable to learn. I'm talking about people that are able to learn, yet they choose not to. My ex's grandmother refused to learn how to type. Her vision was fine. Her fingers were fine. She had email and a computer, but she refused to touch a keyboard. If she wanted to send an email, she would wait until one of her children visited her and then have them type it out for her. Learn how to type? What the hell? You literally just press the key with the letter on it and it makes that letter appear on the screen. It seems like she just wanted to inconvenience herself, to be honest. It seems like she just wanted to inconvenience herself. Oh, you've met my bubby. Overconfident in a subject that they clearly know nothing of, and try to tell you you're wrong after facts have been presented. Attorney here. I'm not the smartest person in the room most of the time, and that's fine. But I did extensively study the Constitution in law school and I constantly watch people misstate what parts of it mean on social media and they're absolutely convinced that they're right, and argue with people with more expertise in the area. And it happens with all professions and it's always infuriating. Starting to self-identify, reading through all the comments. To be self-aware, learn of your past mistakes and to better yourself. That's the beginning of a bright future. Being ready to learn everywhere and from everything. After enough time you will realize how good that really is. Become an expert in a field of your choice and start to realize that way too many people in your field are no experts at all. Looking at you, veteran IT admins in Germany. They bring up their IQ score from an online test they took. When we were 13, a buddy of mine came to school filled with excitement and couldn't wait to tell us about the amazing results he got from an IQ test. Okay, fine. What did you score? 98. Almost full marks. A girl I knew showed me her IQ scores from high school. She was actually proud to have scored in the 80s. I didn't have the heart to tell her how those tests are scored. She should join Mensa. Sometimes you can just see there's nothing behind the eyes. My cat would feel personally attacked by this if he wasn't such a dingus. Not being able to admit they were wrong. Though sometimes this is a sign of immaturity, there's a strong correlation with stupidity. I'd say it goes even beyond admitting. Smart people might also have trouble admitting a mistake to other people due to pride, but stupid people won't even consider the possibility that this sort of thing might happen. Not being able to spell is normal. Lots of people are dyslexic. Not knowing you can't spell, on the other hand. See that door marked pirate? You think a pirate lives in there? I see a door marked private. Yeah, he doesn't even get us, man. Charlie, we're talking about you. I once worked with a guy for about 6 months who, among other things, would itch and moan about me sending unclear emails no matter how much hand-holding I did with him. Meanwhile, an email from him intended to say I own a brown dog riddled with typos and autocorrect errors would read something like, "Do Gietus gut now bear?" I wish I was exaggerating. I was never so happy to have a coworker quit. They talk about how smart they are. The more you know you don't know. Someone might think they know all the stars that exist according to the ones they can see. But if they further educate themselves in astronomy, they will know just how much they don't know. So funny. I used to think I knew a lot about World War II because I'd read around a dozen or so books about it. Then I got on Goodreads and started seeing guys who'd read dozens of books about one battle. Then I realized that I did not in fact know a lot about World War II. Yup, and that's the realization that makes you smarter actually. It's better to at least be aware that more to a subject exists than act like you know everything when you actually don't.